Good morning. Welcome to yoga. Let's get started today with some centering, some breathing, and let's do our good old classic Nadi Shodhana today because it's great for clearing up the sinuses. It's great for relieving headaches or migraine tension. And it's really good for connecting left and right brain for being able to problem solve. So let's go ahead and start there. If you haven't done Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing before, go ahead and follow me for the first few rounds. If you know it on your own, go ahead and get started at your own pace. So we're going to start by closing off traditionally the right nostril first. Exhale. Inhale. After the inhales, we switch. We're going to plug off the left nostril, then exhale. Inhale. We're full of air, so we're going to switch nostrils out. In. Switch out. Continue on at your own pace. Out, in, switch. Relaxing into the breath, making it deeper and longer. And come back to the natural breath. Huckleberry's here to help us. All right, go ahead and drop the chin forward and explore stretching the back of your neck. And go ahead and take your head to the side and explore stretching the side of your neck. The other side. And then lastly, we're going to make a little hammock out of our hands. This hammock is going to give our head just a little lift so that when we lift our chin, the back of our head is nowhere near our back because our neck is lengthened. And we're going to gently and slowly explore stretching the front of our neck. You'll get a deeper stretch if your teeth are lightly closed. Very important that this is slow movements here. As we get older, the bones in our neck shift and the chances of pinching a nerve in your neck increase. There's one nerve in particular that can get bumped into if you're being vigorous or hard, and it can cause a stroke. So we'll avoid any quick movements, and that's part of why we're supporting our head as well. And bring it back to center. Roll your shoulders. Roll them the other way. Roll back one at a time. Let it take your torso with it. Bring your hands to the shoulders and keep going. Letting your torso come along for the ride. That's actually the goal of this more than anything. All right, we're going to keep our chin now facing straight forward. One arm is going to go as far forward as you can make it, and the other one goes back as far. So we're rotating our torso relative to our chin facing forward. So we've got one out front, one out back. And this is a very passive way to stretch our neck muscles, since our neck and our shoulders are connected at opposite ends of the same muscles. So if you ever have one of those nasty kinks in your neck that you just can't hardly stretch it out because it hurts so much or feels very fragile to do so, keep your head still, but stretch your arms and your torso rotating relative to your head. Same muscles while protecting the neck. Excellent. Let's take those hands behind us. We're going to interlace the fingers. If your fingers don't interlace back there, grab a strap or a dish towel, something to lengthen the arms. So we've got our hands connected in some way, and we're going to lengthen the arms away from the shoulders. Now, it's totally normal if all of a sudden your chin dropped forward. That's a natural way that our body tries to get out of the stretch. We're going to instead think about trying to touch the back wall with our head, not by tucking or lifting, but by going straight back. Give yourself that lovely double chin there. You know you're doing it right when you got one. Keep thinking of pulling those hands away. The hands might get a little higher as your shoulders stretch out. And release. Ooh, get some blood flow down to those fingers. Let's come around to hands and knees.
All right, sorry. That's not what I meant to do.
Alrighty, we're gonna take a cat and cow.
Yoga.
Cheryl, I can still hear you, love.
I know, I'm trying to get out of it. I'm working. It's like, no.
All right, press your weight back, hips over heels, child's pose. So if you're watching this video online on YouTube, just know that I do have students live that I can see and can see me. That's where some of my cueing comes from. If I see that they need a little bit of extra assistance in here, I'll just put it out there to lengthen the arm or something like that. So that's who was joining us there out loud for a moment. If you were interested in joining us, you feel free to let me know. All right, bring the weight forward, hands and knees. We're going to take one arm and do what we call thread the needle. We're gonna reach it under, and I'm gonna let my shoulder come all the way down to the ground and my head too. And then I'm gonna pick it all the way back up and lift it and back under. It's tempting to let the hips rotate to get out of the stretch on both of these. But I'm going to try to keep my pelvis level, so neither of my hips is jutting forward or backward, and I'm not rotating them at all. And we're gonna do it to the other side. Reach it on under, thread the needle, press it back up. We'll do one more. And let it go. Press back, child's pose. And stretch those arms all the way over to one side. Feel the side of your torso stretch out. And the other side. Back to the center. Walk those hands forward until the back of the tail starts to lift up. Really stretching out the back here. Letting the armpits sink towards the floor. And then press your weight back over your heels again. We're actually going to press ourselves all the way up to a squat. And sit on your heels. I'm actually gonna kind of rock around on this for a bit. Feel what I can up the soleuses, the ankles, rolling through the toes. Stretch out the bottoms of my feet. I had a little catch in my knee sometimes when they're bent in just a little bit the wrong way. That didn't feel really comfortable. So I just straightened out my leg and rebent it, and then it was fine. So I just had a ligament a little bit out of place. press down through your feet to lift your tail forward fold. And back down. We're going to do that a few more times. Lift the tail forward fold. And down. So my goal here is to feel that stretch run all the way up my legs to my hips. And all the way back down to my ankles and feet. All right, we're going to stay up in forward fold now. And without rotating at all, I'm simply going to shift my weight onto my left foot and shift my weight onto my right foot. So I'm looking down at my right toes and then my left, and go ahead and go back and forth with this. My feet are a little bit apart here, but I'm keeping them flat on the ground. And then I'm going to rotate now. So I'm going to do a little half circle. I'm going to turn and look at one ankle. Look way out at the side of one ankle and then the other. Keeping my feet flat on the ground gets more challenging here as I go from left to right. All right, soften your knees. Come all the way up to standing. We'll leave our arms by our sides for now. Think of pressing down through the arches of the feet. Squeeze a little bit in those thighs. Roll your shoulders open. So it makes my hands rotate too, but the movement is coming from the shoulders. Open it up. And then think of pressing that chin straight back again, just like we did before when we're trying to touch the back wall with our head. Make sure that your torso didn't do anything funny. Chances are your belly kind of popped forward. We're going to pull that back in, push the chin back again. There you go. Imagine pushing backward with the backs of your hands. And then release. Backs of the hands push back. Release. We'll do that a few more times at your own pace. Really feel that squeeze. Last one. These are our posture muscles that we're working here. It's helping to counteract computer neck and phone neck. Go ahead and let that go. Take a comfortable stance. My feet are going to be a little bit wider than hip width apart. Take one arm up and pat yourself on the back with it. Lift that elbow. Relax your neck. If you'd like to, you can take this other hand up behind and reach for your hand. Again, a yoga strap or a dish towel work great for helping to extend your reach. Soften your jaw, loosen your tongue, make a funny face. Anything to help you remember to keep your neck loose and relaxed. And unwind. We'll take the other side. We'll start out with just the one arm reaching up and over. Add that other arm if you like. Yes, one side is probably going to be harder than the other. That's okay and normal. We'll just stretch this side a little bit longer, or whatever side it is for you. Go back and revisit it to increase that range of motion. And unwind. Get some blood back down into those fingers. All right, let's take our feet back underneath of our hips, and we're going to lift one knee. Lots of engagement through the torso to hold this still. Use your eyes to hold something in your sight here and really focus on a fine point. So maybe it's the very end of your mat and you find one little bump that you're focusing on there, or maybe it's something right in front of you on the wall. Whatever it is, make it small, make it concise, and hold your gaze on that. And what that allows you to do is notice if you're going one side or the other very soon, as opposed to just looking wherever and all of a sudden you don't have as much focus on holding your body still in this axis of balance. We're going to take a large step forward now. Land as gently as possible. Bend into the front knee and press back through the back heel. So my heel is off the floor because I don't have the range of motion to get it all the way down on the floor. I'm working that direction. When I do eventually get my heel all the way on the floor, I'm simply going to scoot my front foot forward some more and do the process all over again. Pulling the low belly in and up. We'll take the arms up high overhead. High lunge. Exhale, bring those hands down to the mat. Getting a deep stretch through my hip here on the front leg. I'm going to press down through the front foot to lift my back leg. And let's do this a few times. So we'll let the foot lower. You're in like a forward fold and lift it back up. If your hands are a long way away from the mat or you find you're really having to bend your knee to touch the floor, go ahead and grab a footstool, a yoga block, something to put under your hands to get your hands and the floor a little bit closer together. One more, we're going to lift it up and hold it up there. And then set it way back where it was. Press down through the front foot to lift you all the way back up. Pivot to the side. We'll take a straddle and forward fold. Soften your knees, make your way back up. We're going to go to horse stance, so my knees are pointed in the same direction as my feet. Hands come together at heart space, ears over shoulders over hips. Now with as little oomph as possible, we're going to push off what was our front leg and step towards the back leg. Awesome. Go ahead and pivot to face your mat. We'll lift the second knee. So all the same things we did before, we'll do over here. We'll ground ourselves into the foot we're standing on. Engage our low belly to help hold this leg up. Opening up the shoulders. Lifting up through the top of the head. And finding a spot on the wall or floor to help us hold steady. Take a large step forward. Back heel off the ground. My hips are facing forward right towards my front knee. Arms up overhead. Remember, I'm pressing down through the back leg to try and get that heel towards the floor. That's creating an incredible amount of stretch in the front of the hip here as well. Exhale, take it forward, hands down to the mat. Allow yourself to stretch into this hip. And then press down with the front foot to lift the back leg. We'll lift and lower a few times. Now my leg today is pretty stiff and it's not going super high. You feel free to take it up as far as it goes for you. Last one, we're going to take it up there and hold it up there. And let it go. With those, put it back where it was. Press back up to high lunge. Open to a straddle. And wide leg forward fold. Go ahead and sink back into your horse stance. Shift a little weight towards the front leg. just enough to help you get back in together. Go ahead and turn, face the mat. We'll take both arms up high overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, half lift. You can do this supported with your hands on the mat. A block on your legs is very common. Or you can do a monkey pose where your pinkies are reaching up to the ceiling behind you. I always like this one. I feel a good pop in my shoulder that's very needed, putting things back in place. Exhale, back down to forward fold. Breathe in, come all the way up, standing tall, arms to the sky. Press down with everything from the navel down. Tail goes down, belly goes in, thinking down. Everything is strong downward from the navel down. Everything from the navel up is going to lift. There we go. Lift that heart up to the sky. Lift your nose to the sky. Lift your pinkies to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, half lift. Exhale down. All the way up. Heart lift. Exhale, forward, forward fold. Half lift. Back down. All the way up. And relax those arms down by your side. Again, roll your shoulders back. Bring your hands together behind you. Pull your chin straight back. Imagine pressing the back of your head into a wall behind you. Now we're going to do the opposite. We'll let our chin come forward. Soften your knees, let the whole torso come forward, and the hands go up and back, reaching your shoulders away from your ears. Come all the way back up to standing. Let the arms come down. We're going to do a little bit of balancing. Feel free to use a wall or chair or something for support if you feel a little bit wobbly on one leg. We're going to start with a tree pose. So that's to take one knee out and the other foot comes somewhere up the leg. And for right now, we're going to grab one hip and the other thigh, and we're going to think of stretching them apart. And then reach on down to the ankle or the toe. Traditionally, you'd grab the big toe with your two peace fingers. And stand as tall as you can. This is going to get to be a little bit more stretch in the front here. And then if you'd like to, we're going to stretch the leg out. The arm might go in the opposite direction for counterbalance, It might hold on to something. You might have your back against the wall, but this is big toe pose. Bring that leg in front of you. It might have to bend at some point, that's okay. Try to keep the leg you're standing on straight though. And set the foot down. Ooh. Let's play with the other side. So we have our tree. Gently prepare the hips, rolling the shoulders back. And then reach on down for the shin or foot or toe. If we were laying on our back, this would be like half of a baby pose. And when you're all ready, lengthen it out. And bring it in front. This is called forehead to knee pose because the idea is to eventually get your forehead to your knee. And let it go. Go ahead and wiggle out the ankles and the feet. Roll back those shoulders. And have a seat. Let's stretch out those hips. We're going to take one leg behind. Shift your weight back, tucking your tail underneath of you. And bring your torso back up. We're going to stretch out this leg out a little bit that way and stretch the back leg out long and lay forward over your own front leg. If you would like to increase this stretch, simply take this foot, bring it up, but still have your belly button facing down at the floor. Relax as much of your body as you can. Now bring yourself on up. We're going to bring that around to the other side. Starting with our figure 4 stretch. Lean it back. Tuck under the tail. If you're someone who gathers tension in your shoulders, make sure to relax those here and not let them climb up around your ears. And bring yourself on up. We'll rotate towards the front knee, open it up a little bit, lengthen the back leg back. Notice that I'm doing my best to rotate the back leg so that the kneecap is down. I'm going to adjust a little bit so that's on the mat instead of the hard floor, but kneecap down, and that's going to help rotate my pelvis to be balanced with the floor so that my belly button would be going straight down as opposed to pointing a little bit off towards you.